afternoon, guys. Well, today is what word can I use? Been jacked up. We discovered this morning we could not use this mower, so we had to limp the errands today. And yes, I'm still using the errands when I need to, but there's some videos coming up on it that you're not going to want to miss, so stay tuned for that. But anyway, I'm going to be showing you what I'm going to be doing with this machine here in just a minute. But if you're new to the channel, you've never clicked on one of my videos before, I want, number one, welcome. I appreciate you stopping by. Number two, I want you to take a look at this graph. This graph shows that 80% of the people that are watching my videos are not subscribed to the channel. Guys, come on. If you click on that thumbnail, there's a specific reason that it caught your attention. I would appreciate it if you like the video and subscribe to the channel. That helps the channel grow. It helps the channel out. And I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I would love to have you be a part of the Big South family. Who am I? My name is Brian, and you're watching. So what are we going to be doing today? Well, I'm fixing to show you. But first, let me get my trusty jack and jack this thing up, because I want to show you something. I'm going to be taking you on a little journey today. Yeah, squeak, 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 squeak. Sound like a bunch of bats. I need to put some PV blaster on this thing and quieten it down. But you know, it is what it is. Now, let me see if I can get you right in the middle of this thing. There we go. Guys, I'm sorry you're looking at my butt. Of course, there ain't much there to look at. There we go. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas. Now, I've got you on the tentacle, and I wanted to show you something. I want you to look at this tire. See, it still turns smooth. And look, it's got a little bit of play in it, but not much. Now, look at this tire over here. This one here, let me see if I can, yeah, see that? Well, trying to get my hand away from it where you can see it with the camera. Right there. Well, that thing just will not stop spinning. There we go. See that? What could be causing that? Well, I'm fixing to show you. But just so you'll know, that hub is not supposed to be doing that. I'm coming over here to Nate's truck and get these two little items right here and show them to you. Each side of that hub has a bearing in it. Well, that outside bearing is shot. And this is what they look like. Right there. And I'm going to be explaining little by little as I go along what has to be done, how to fix it, and what you got to do to preserve the life and prolong the life of the bearing. So I hope you guys stay tuned. Okay, we are down in our work area. So, well, one thing I forgot to get. Dadgummit. I forgot to get the most important part. I almost put a hex on the whole darn thing. Now, what you're going to need to do the job like this, whether it be on a Gravely, an X-Mark, or whatever machine you're working on. If you got a homeowner's or residential zero turn that has bearings like this, this is what you're going to need to fix it. whatever size bolt you have and nut you have on your front end hub support bolt, you're going to need either a ratchet or a socket and an impact wrench. This is a 3/4 and this is a 3/4 open end wrench. And you're going to need a tub of multi-vehicle high temperature red grease. I prefer the red because it's high temperature and it resists abrasion and stuff a lot better than your average ordinary grease. And I'll put that up to the camera so you can see it. And yes, I have used it before. It is an open can, but it's made by Valvoline. And you're going to need your bearings. So here's what we're going to do first. We're going to bam these things off, and I'm going to show you what they look like, and then I'm going to go through and show you how to replace them. Now, what did I do with there's my socket. And one last thing you're going to need is you're going to need some kind of soap to wash your hands outdoors. That will become abundantly clear why here in just a few minutes. But the reason why you want to do this outside is because you do not want to run grease down your pipes in your house. That's a no-no. So anyway, let me get this off, and then I'll show you what happened. And just so you know, this is not a failure. This machine is 4 years old, and this is the first time I've ever had to change the bearing in the front hub. So that ought to tell you something. If you maintenance them correctly, they last a long time. These are the factory bearings, so they've done well, because I grease them at the beginning of every season. So let me get this on here like this. Make sure I'm on loosen. I don't want to over tighten it. And bam it. And that's it. Now you slide the bolt out. Now one thing you do want to do is be very mindful of how this thing goes back together so you can get it together properly. I'm gonna have to have a little bit of persuasion here to get this thing out of here. Don't do anything that's gonna mess up the threads. My goodness, that thing is stuck. Oh, it's because it's hanging down on it. My Lord. I might have to get something a little bigger than that, guys. Well, guys, it is the next morning. I had to take Flossie to the doctor, to the eye doctor, and they had to dilate her eyes. That's why I had to take her. And now I'm on the way to the dealer because I couldn't find what I needed elsewhere. And just so you see, that's what I'm going to get. You see the threads on that? You see where the threads end? Yeah, this is the spanner that goes in between, or goes through the hub, and basically the bearings right on the ends. Well, what happened with that bearing set on one side, this spanner is completely seized to this bolt. I beat the fire out of it with a 2-pound sledgehammer in a vise and cannot move it. I didn't heat it because I don't have anything to heat with, but I probably could have gotten it out, but by that time I'd have had to have a new bolt anyway. And I came up here to the local hardware store, and they didn't have a bolt big enough or long enough to work in this thing. So what I'm doing now, this is the next day. I'm going to the dealer up in Dunn, Lanky's, and I'm getting the bolt, the spanner, and everything I need to put that machine back together. So when I get everything done, get back to the shop, we got to go do some yards. this evening I'll be doing the rest of the video putting this thing back together. So I hope you guys stick around. It will be instant for you, but it'll be a few hours for me. Alright guys, I just left the dealership and got what I needed. This is the old one. As you can see, it's seized up. And this is the new one. And that's what it's supposed to do. Right there. And all that is basically is a piece of tubing, really. That's all it is. And then you got this ginormously long bolt. I think that bolt's about 8-9 inches long, something like that. But anyway, we're gonna get the work done we got to get done, and then I'll be getting out and getting this thing fixed. So I hope you stick around. Thanks, son. Guys, when you ain't got a tire on one side, you got to drive it. You got to do it the way you can. All right, guys. Made the trip to the dealer, got the parts, and I'm gonna turn the camera around and show you what I got done last night after I quit recording. Okay. Here's the old parts, and there's the old parts right there. But I want you to look at this. You see this silver thing right here? That is the new race. The old race had completely disintegrated. And if you don't know what a race is, that's the area in which the bearing, I'll stick it down in there, that's where the bearing rides right there, just like that. So anyway, we're going to get this thing put back together. All right, guys, I think I'm ready. Let me get all this down on the ground here so you can watch me doing what I'm doing, or what I'm going to be doing. Crucial steps you have to take. Let me turn the camera around here. Crucial steps you have to take when doing this. You have to make sure everything is clean, because if you don't, any sand or anything like that that is accumulated in the hub or on any of the parts like the spacers or the bearing keeper caps will work its way into the brand new bearing and basically destroy it over time. And it won't take a lot of time either. So if you've never seen this before, it's going to be very dirty. The thing is, there's absolutely nothing you can do about it being dirty. I mean, it is what it is. But Gravely used to use sealed bearings, and everybody complained and they went to the greasable bearings. Well, the thing is, if they had used the right sealed bearings, you can still grease those. You have to know the little tricks to do it, but you can still grease them. But anyway, this is going to be a very nasty, very dirty process if you've never seen it before. If you have, you can fast forward through this part. But anyway, what you have to do, take a glob of grease and basically you smear it on your hand like that. And yes, it's nasty. Then you take this bearing and you hold it down like that, and then you just start working the grease into it. And when I get this area full, I'll show you what it looks like. I'm hoping the camera's picking me up. And see how that grease is coming through that side? That's when you know that area of the bearing is full. Then you just rotate it a little bit and you keep going. And basically what that's doing, your hand is forcing the grease up into that little nook right there. Cranny, nook, crack, whatever you want to call it. And you just have to keep working it and working it until it's full. And you rotate it around, do it again. And if you tell, I'm putting pressure on it every time I do it. And you can see the grease squeezing up into that bearing. Guys, I've had some pretty good comments. And for those of you that comment kindly, may I say thank you. I've had some, and they're no longer anywhere have access to my channel, but I've had some jerks. And I don't argue with them. I just delete them and move on because I don't have time for that. I'm too busy trying to run a business, keep a household going, and raise my son. So anyway, when you're done, you just take the bearing and set it like that. And then you take the excess grease and you put it inside the hub. Because when I get through, there's going to be grease everywhere. And yeah, the sun is going down behind the trees. And I waited to this time of the evening because it is so hot. And I just realized I forgot to open that other bearing. It's still in the sealed package and my hands are a disaster. Guys, let me get a rag. All right, here we go. Open the pack. Now this one's got a race on it too, and I'm gonna be, because that one was already in the hub. I put it in last night, but I'm gonna show you outside the hub what the race looks like. And all it is the tapered housing of the bearing. That's all it is, and it's got a number on it. Now I'm gonna take this number and I'm gonna look on Amazon and see if I can't find sealed bearings this size with this size hole. Don't know that I can, but I'm gonna try. And these this is a different number. Yes, a different number. I'm probably gonna need to take my phone and take a picture of that. Let me do that real quick. All right, got that done. Now, as I was saying, the race, you see how it's flat on the outside, but it's tapered on the inside, and it's got a 90-degree ledge right there, as you can see. Well, that's it. You beat this down into the hub, or you tap it down the hub, and then when you put the bearing in it, in the hub, it sits in the race just like that. And that is what spins on this axle right here. It fits in there like that, and that's the way it spins. That's the way it works. So anyway, now I'm gonna get this one packed and I'll be right back. All right, I got it. As you can see, my hands are a disaster. But until you get this process finished, there's no reason to clean your hands. All right, that's good enough for right now. Let me move the grease out of the way. And there is a process to putting this thing back together. And like I said, I did that one over there, but I've never done this one. But it's been about 3 years since I did that one. I had to clean my glasses because I'm getting sweat on them. And I'm having to wear sunshades because of the gnats. So, okay. Now, I'm going to try to get the camera where you can see what I'm doing. I don't know if I can or not, but I'm going to try. Let me tilt it down just a little bit. There we go. You should be able to see what I'm doing there. Now, what you want to do, I've already done this, but I'm doing this for the sake of the video. There's the race on the other side. You want to take your finger and you want to run around the inside of the race to make sure there's no burrs, there's no scratches, that it's perfectly smooth, because that is where the bearings themselves ride, right there. There's no burr on the edge. It's good. And this one over here is brand new. So what you have to determine is what side of the fork this grease fitting goes to, and I believe it goes to the inside, but I'm going to confirm that on the other side of the mower. Okay, it goes to the head side where the bolt head goes. which is the outside. This is the outside because it's facing forward. So the tire needs to go on like this. So, and these are run flats, guys, and these things are heavy. So the way you do this is you prop it up, if it'll stay. Let me get a little bit closer. You prop it up, and then you basically just feed grease down inside that, so when it heats up, the grease will have a tendency to run to the outside. Remember when I said that by the time you get through with this, you're gonna be globbed in grease? Now you understand what I mean. Because you pack it in there, and the reason you do this is so you won't have to grease it with the grease gun right away. And two, this helps hold the bearing in place. You push it down in place. Okay, then you spin it around. Now you can't lean this side as much as you did the other side, because if you do, you're going to be in a mess, because that bearing there is going to fall out. So Lord, I'm gonna be used on. Let me try that again. I'm gonna be used almost all of this grease on this job, but that's all right. Now you take this bearing, make sure it's good and clean. You make sure it's going inside the way it's supposed to. You push it in. Oop. There we go. Make sure it's seated properly, and it is. And boy, that grease has got it suctioned up in there good. So you got that done. Now you take the spacers, you put them on. Remember I said it's gonna be tricky? Well, here's where the tricky part comes in. You gotta wipe a lot of this grease off so I can grab that bolt, or grab the caps rather. And this, let's see, yeah, this cap goes on this side like that. And this cap goes on this side like that. Now, oh, that's right, I just remembered. You got to put the bolt through here. You got to get this up on the fork. Oh, I forgot one crucial part. Guys, I am so sorry. I forgot this center thing has got to go through there, because that bolt's got to go through it. And it goes through the bearings. I have to take that bearing back out. There we go. Now you put the bearing in there like that. Lord have mercy, I almost forgot that. And then this goes over the rod, the spacer, like that. Like that. Guys, let me get you down where you can see what I'm doing. I think you can see right there. Then your cap goes on like this, and this cap goes on this side. And I'm gonna turn the tire around, because I'm gonna turn the fork around, and it'll be easier to maneuver and work with. So this is the outside, and this is where the head of the bolt goes. So you put it like that. You gotta roll it up. I mean, it's a little bit too far out. Let me see here. I don't have anything, so I'm just gonna have to muscle it up there. Bear hug it. That's not gonna work. Let me stretch my leg out and see if I can do it like this. Get a little bit more intimate with it. I knew that was gonna happen. There we go. And you got the hunt on there. And you just slide it through. And get it in the, there we go. Now we're cooking with gas. And put the nut on. Now, it's on tighten. Hold it with the wrench. Now, one crucial thing I do want to point out is when you're tightening up something like this, you want to tighten it down out. But you don't want to tighten it down so much it doesn't spin free. And as you can tell, that spins free and there's absolutely no wobble to it. But guys, that's it. Let me get cleaned up a little bit and I'll be right back. Guys, this has been an ordeal, pretty much of my own making. There was, when you doing this kind of stuff is like a carpenter doing his work. He never knows what he's going to run into until he starts tearing into stuff, and that's when he finds usually a mess. Well, that's kind of what happened here. I did not have any clue that bolt was going to be seized up inside that spacer or whatever you want to call that thing. They called it a spanner. What was it they called? They called it a spanner. But anyway, it is what it is. We got it fixed. It's ready to go. It's ready to go back to work tomorrow. And that's the important thing. Guys, if you made it this far into the video, thank you so much. I can't tell you how much I appreciate your support. Thank you to all of my subscribers. I love you from the bottom of my heart, and I appreciate you being here. This is Brian with Big South Outdoors TV, reminding you to live big, live southern, and live outdoors. And no matter how aggravating life gets, have a good one.